Sting's last match should have been a 3-month story, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it was turning a Darby Allin heel and he was going to be the one to replace Sting, it should have been a 3-month story with focus, bro.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Vince Russo. Happy birthday to you.
Very nice, Chris. Very nice. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate that.
Yes, indeed, man. Another year, man. Another year to be grateful that you're here, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely, man. Speaking of gratitude, we're always grateful for Tony Khan because he's the gift that keeps on giving, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely, man. Jelly of the Month Club. Absolutely,
yes,
bro.
Yes, indeed. So the latest Tony Khan news, other than Jinder Mahal stuff, is so he's bringing back the ranking system. And according to Brian Alvarez from the Wrestling Observer, he stated that CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, was the person who told him to get rid of the ranking system. And that was a big thing, for him. Old school, WCW back when they used to do the rankings back in the day. Used to do the for AEW for a while. They did the records and all that jazz too. So this ranking system of Tony Khan's, Vince, what does it mean?
Well, bro, first of all, with Alvarez reporting that they stopped the ranking system way before CM Punk got there. They hadn't been doing that for a while, bro. They were doing it, and I think Tony saw the reality of how difficult it is to do that because, bro, we tried that at TNA. Yeah. And bro, the problem is, you got to include every house show and everything. And we literally had, like Matt Conway, mapping everything out, every house show and everything, bro. And it really hinders the booking. I mean, at the end of the day, it really, really hinders the booking. So it was an experiment that didn't work. Eric Bischoff was always into that. And I think that's what Tony Khan did early on. And, bro, we were having guys 0-3 getting a title shot. And then everybody was up in arms. It didn't work the first time around. Bro, this ranking system in any company has never proven to work. Never, anywhere.
Yeah, it seems like Bischoff liked it because he's an AWA guy and AWA was really big on the rankings and things like that. WCW did it too in the early 90s, and I remember when Bill Watts would be on the screen and they would have the top 10 and Jim Ross would announce it and things like that, and you would have number 7 or number 6 be the natural Dusty Rhodes, and I'm cutting a promo talking about being number 6 and stuff like that. So the old school part of that was fun, but at the same time, to your point, Vince, I mean, especially when you have over 100 people in the roster, man. I mean, it's kind of difficult to have a top 10 based on predetermined scripted television. That's
very hard, bro. We legitimately tried it, and it was too difficult.
When did y'all notice in TNA that it started to go south as far as being too difficult to manage?
When it started affecting the booking.
Okay.
And this guy needed a win to get up, and this, when that started happening, and it was really affecting the booking.
Do you think that him bringing back the rankings, reportedly, do you think that had a lot to do with after the Jinder Mahal thing, the Hook being 28-1 and all that, and so? Do you think that had something to do with that conversation.
That's a great point, Chris. That's a great point, because yes, the answer is yes, because like I said, bro, they hadn't done it in a while.
Yeah.
And now what? We're going to put the heat on CM Punk?
Yeah.
Bro, they stopped doing it way before Punk came into the company.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like Tony Khan's trying to bring it back because of the tweet, making and putting Hook over. So, I mean, Hook, speaking of Hook, man, he was 28-1 or whatever he was, 26-1, 28-1, with that exchange that Tony Khan had with Jinder Mahal. And Jinder Mahal didn't win in a year. And so Tony Khan was like, how someone who hasn't won in a year get a world title push, which seemingly is the reason why he's like, let's bring back the ranking system. Now, you've put over Hook before. Of course, Hook is Taz's son. Has a good look to him. Has a rugged type of young look to him. Definitely someone who is has a ton of potential and opportunity to him. Overall, though, he's been kind of caught in was really, really over organically by the fans, and then kind of got lost. Well, really got lost in the shuffle again based on all the other shiny new toys that come in. Where do you see Hook in the next year or two in the AEW?
Bro, it's interesting because I did not watch Dynamite yesterday. I don't know if they followed up on it at all, because I thought that was key. Bro, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Hook's Taz's son. Mm-hmm. I love Taz. I'm rooting for the kid. I'm pulling for the kid. I got sons. You got sons, but the fact of the matter is, bro, you hear me say this all the time. What is missing out of wrestling? Cool, bro. Mm-hmm. The cool is missing out of wrestling. Hook is cool, bro. That's what wrestling needs. I think, I think he's still growing, bro. I think he's got to grow into his body. Obviously, bro, it's in the bloodlines. But, like I said, bro, the thing that stands out to me is this kid is freaking cool. And that's what we need. So, I'll probably go back and look online or something, because what was key was how Tony Khan was going to follow that matchup.
Sure. Yeah. Do you see any missing links in Hook? I think Hook has a cool factor for sure, putting his arms on the buckle and looking away from, kind of smugly looking away from this talent at first, toward the camera. I think those things are I'm all about nuances, man. Those nuances are really cool about him. Promo work, not good, and he's definitely have a lot to work on when it comes to that. Do you think size-wise, Vince, if you had the books, what would you tell? What advice would you give to Hook to make him more of a main event star, a staple main event star? Bro,
if he just keeps coming back for more and is relentless. Okay. Like, bro, the way I would have booked him is, bro, he threw the kitchen sink at Joe, came up short. I would have had him come back the next week and challenge Christian Cage for his title. Because he needs to be in a program with a veteran that will be able to teach him and help him get over. That's what he needs. You cannot put him in there with somebody that has, little or no experience. You got to put him in there with a veteran presence.
Yeah. And they were having him with the FTW title for a while. That title doesn't mean anything. And they were having people defend it and him losing, and the Jungle Boy and all that stuff, Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, and just a meaningless title as far as just AEW is concerned. By having him in the FTW division for so long, do you think that hurt his momentum in the company overall, or do you think that was a good placeholder to put him?
No, there's no placeholder. I mean, that's Tony Khan's booking, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And yes, bro, I see so many talent like just come up and like get beat. Yeah. Bro, I'm telling you, man, in all the companies I worked for, when we had new talent, and we just signed somebody or somebody was coming off of injury, whatever the case may be, I didn't bring them back just to beat them, bro. Like, I never did that in my life. And man, I see WWE do that all the time, bro, with the two dudes who have the shirts up to here. Who are they? Deadly something.
You talking about the Authors of Pain?
No, the guys that wear the shirt.
Oh, Pretty Deadly.
Pretty Deadly. They beat Austin Theory to death. They beat that Aussie kid to death. I don't understand that, bro. Like I said, man, it would have been like us bringing Val Venus in, and we're beating Val Venus, and we're beating Edge, and we're beating Christian. Go look at what we did with all these people, bro. We didn't beat them the minute we brought them up.
Yeah. I think that's a good point too. Just as, again, man, when you have such an influx of talent that you don't know, that you have what? You have 2 hours of Dynamite, you have 1 hour of Rampage, and 2 hours of Collision. You have 5 hours to book 100 people. You know what I mean? So, and then you have a paywall with ROH, but then you have ROH talent. That's its own type of thing. You kind of overlay some or ROH and AEW, but that goes into my next question, Vince. Why do you think? What's convincing about ROH being behind a paywall, one? And two, what are your thoughts of the acquisition so far of ROH from Tony Khan?
Bro, come on, man. Tony Khan brought ROH because he was a mark for ROH. That's it. That's the only reason ROH is like still in business today. There's no value there, bro. Nobody's gonna buy a ROH pay-per-view except the people that buy it all the time. Bro, remember how he went out and made that big announcement and how that's what it was all about for him. That's what it was all about for him. But my God, come on, bro. There is no way in the world Tony Khan thought that would have been a viable piece that was going to make money. No way, bro. Come on.
Yeah, he's overlapping a lot of AEW talent to ROH and vice versa, and even having like ROH main events and stuff like that. When Jericho won the Ring of Honor World Championship, do you think that was a good call for AEW? Do you think that was a nice little swerve there?
No, bro, absolutely not. Come on, bro, come on. Like we just got to be honest, man. We know why Tony bought it. Tony didn't think it was going to make any money. He's doing with it exactly what he wants to do with it, but in the big scheme of things, it means nothing. Come on, bro. WWE just signed a $5 billion deal, and we're going to sit here and talk about Ring of Honor? Come on, man. Then they're not even in the same universe, man.
You don't see Ring of Honor Netflix deal?
No, I don't.
No, I don't. No. It seems like it's pretty difficult for ROH to get for AEW, for Dynamite to have a television deal, Collision to have a television deal. Why do you think it's so difficult to pitch ROH with the package?
Well, because either, and we've talked about this, and this has been out there, that TNT, TBS, Warner Brothers Discovery owns a piece of AEW.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, those other shows are all properties of AEW. Ring of Honor is a totally different company. So that's why, in my opinion, that's why they don't have a television deal, because Warner Brothers Discovery does not own a piece of that.
That makes sense. sense. And it seemed like it's difficult for them to find anything else other than TBS and TNT as far as an ROH, because there's so many other channels like CWs, are reportedly in line with NWA, and just there's so many channels, Access TV, with TNA, and there's just a lot of channels that you can work with, but it doesn't seem like they're finding any type of fortune with their deal with getting a television deal. So let's talk about Sting's possible last match, man. Right now it seems like it's going to be affiliated with the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks is kind of playing some type of heelish role, and they come out on an episode of Dynamite, and they just kind of just kind of look and just kind of survey the scene. They do a sit down interview shortly after that, another episode. Out of all the options for Sting to have his final match, which will be in about 5 weeks as of this recording. And so in 5 weeks, Sting's last match, Young Bucks. Your thoughts?
Bro, that's just lack of writing, lack of storytelling, man. This Sting's last match should have been a 3-month story, bro. Mm-hmm. And whether it was turning a Darby Allin heel and he was going to be the one to replace Sting, you know, it should have been a 3-month story with focus, bro. Yeah. But there is no focus. I wouldn't even know, bro, how you would get to Sting and the Young Bucks. I don't even know how you would get there. It seems to me like Darby Allin would have been the guy, and I would have turned Darby Allin heel. And bro, so easy to do, bro. Then you have the match. You got the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair match where Darby Allin, you know, beats Sting, the old thing, and then at the end hugs Sting and the whole 9 yards. But Young Bucks, I mean, you tell me and we'll both know, bro. I have no idea where that comes from.
It's typical Tony Khan whiteboard booking, man. You know, day of, there's a whiteboard right there in the back. Zoop, just this whiteboard booking, man.
Yep.
And that's what it seems like, unfortunately. And that whiteboard booking, man, can really cause the casual fans to step away from the product because there's nothing to encapsulate people to stay.
Right.
And I think to me personally, I mean, it seems like it was just meat on the bone handed on the plate on a platter for Darby Sting. I mean, it just seems like that would have been the thing, but they haven't pushed Darby strong enough to even make that a thing now. If I had my choice, this close to Sting's last match, for it to feel like something, I would have him go against Christian Cage, man. Like, Christian Cage is the biggest heel in all of professional wrestling television right now. He is just doing amazing work as a heel. And I think if you really, really want Sting to have that feeling of going over, the feeling of that face versus heel, which Sting is a really, really big fan of. I've asked Sting a question in the media, a live media thing before, and I asked him about the faces versus heels, and he said, you know, if it wasn't for Ric Flair or Rick Rude, it would be no Sting. And so that's where he gels well with that babyface heel dynamic. And Christian Cage is doing amazing work right now. And just the promos that he can cut against Sting, that's just gets under his crawl and that just, you know, he can go with his retirement. He can address so many things that's really get under his crawl. And I think it would be good. I'm just not a fan of like Sting in a singles match, man. I think that's going to roll the dice as far as just, you get that itch too, like the Undertaker did. And if the last match that everybody will remember me by is lackluster and it's not something that I will approve, then he'll have that itch again and want to come back, and then he'll get another match. It's like, it's just the itch that keeps on itching, man. Like, yeah, bro, unless it feels good, bro. Yeah, unless it's cured by some good match. I'm not sure if a singles match is just something that Sting could. I mean, yes, you can do the bells and whistles and stuff like that. And I do think that if they did a whole bunch of theatrics, that would work. And I do think that they'll probably do that. They still probably want to protect Sting.
Yeah,
which is probably why they'll have him in a tag match. So why do you think there's no more Ric Flair involvement in AEW? Because you when we talked a few months ago, you were saying Ric Flair will be involved.
Bro, what's the match we're talking about now?
His last match.
Yeah, what is it though? What is it?
It's going to be him and Darby against Young Bucks at Revolution, seemingly.
Yeah,
and that's and
I still would not count Flair out of that, bro.
Really? He hasn't been on AEW for, I mean, he's just not even affiliated with AEW anymore, is he?
I think he is.
I mean, like I know he's got the partnership with the
energy drinks or something like that. Yeah.
But just as far as on screen, he's just kind of like he was cutting promos in the very beginning. Now he's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, bro, that's how Tony books. You see somebody and then you don't see them again for a long time, and up here's so and so. I mean, that's what the guy does, bro.
Come back and cut a low blow on Sting. And,
who knows? Who knows?
Just put his tights on one more time.
Who knows?
The Young Bucks and Sting, the Young Bucks and Flair against Sting, Darby, and who else? Who would be the third person of that 6-man team?
We'll get somebody in there, bro.
Bring Steamboat back in there for.
There you go. Yeah.